All right, pace is good, guys. Let's keep rolling along. Next up, we have number 8, Cincinnati Bearcats at Tulsa Golden Hurricane. Cincinnati 3-0, 1-0 in the American. The Golden Hurricane 1-1, 1-0 in the American. Cincinnati has started out the season off with wins over Austin Peay, Army, and USF. They're scoring 35.7 points per game while allowing just 12.3 points per game. After opening the season with a 16-7 loss at Oklahoma State, Tulsa went into UCF last week and beat them 34-26. Cincy, Tulsa. Cincy opening up as minus 4-point favorites on the road. That's moved to 3. This total opened up at Bet365 at 48 and has already been smashed down to 45.5 and is now 45 at some books. Cincinnati, Tulsa, Nolly knows. Take it away.
Yeah, I just looked that up and I get to see that already dropping down, and that's too bad. That's what I was trying to get everybody on, was this total. Even at that 45, I still think that we might still have some value here. This is a Cincinnati team that heavily relies on their defense. They move up a couple of spots off a bye week, which to me is not really understandable. They didn't do anything, and they haven't really done anything on offense to really show anything, to show any confidence on their offensive side. Their defense has been dominant and heavily relying on a lot of turnovers. They've got 5 turnovers last week. You got Kobe Bryant getting 2 of those. Mamba mentality, he says. But to me, it's a lot of question marks over here with Cincinnati. They got Desmond Ryder, and he's very suspect right now, and they're debating going to a quarterback change, and it might be the best thing. But even with the quarterback change, I'm not going to have a lot of confidence in that on that offense, especially going against a Tulsa defense that has looked really good. They only allowed 3 points in the second half to UCF, and really were able to control them for most of that game. You look at the first 16 points that they gave up. One of them was on a turnover on the 8-yard line. Then they give up. Then they give up a safety. Then they go 40 yards to get a touchdown. So 16-0 and only like 50 yards of total offense. So this is a Tulsa team that plays at a much slower pace than anticipated. Their coach over there, Billy Napier, is typically known for his offensive strategy, and that's what he came in with initially. But over the last 3 seasons, I've seen a big change in that. They have slowed down the pace significantly, and I like the way that their defense has been playing. You've seen their game with Oklahoma State, a 16-7 game. And here is a Cincinnati team that has been very profitable to the under. This is a team that last year they were 78.6% to the under, 11-3. And here they started off the season 2-1. Tulsa's 2-0 to the under. And last year you see their matchup 24-13. And I expect a similar game here. I expect the under, and I'd still take it at the number.
Still take it at 45.5, and it is dropping. And a lot of cap breaks in the chat. Brad Thomas says Tulsa and under. Yes, please. Maxwell Smart says Tulsa under is candy. Cash Action Bets liking Tulsa here as a home dog. Let's move over to CMac. What do you think of this under? What do you think of Tulsa as a home dog?
I don't want them for sure. Not a 4.5. I like the lean on the under. I'd go the other way, the Cincinnati. I think they're the better football team, the better coach football team. Luke Fickell. Tulsa's done okay, but it's just a few games, and I watched them last year. I think they're an average football team. I think the number's short enough where Cincinnati could cover it. So I'd be on Cincinnati or nothing, and I lean the under, like Nolly said.
Cincinnati or nothing, lean towards the under. John Ryan, what do you think of this spot here?
Well, I probably will end up passing on this game. The first thing that came out to me when I was looking at the results of Tulsa is exactly what Connor was saying. They played at Oklahoma State in their first game and really gave them a test. And I think Oklahoma State now is ranked in number 8 or so. They're definitely the best team in the Big 12. So that looks pretty good, right? Then they play at UCF and give up 26, but they cover the line as 20.5-point road underdogs. So now you have a team that has covered as 20 or more point underdogs, but the final score is very confusing. You really don't know what they are. You do know that they've covered 2 amazing games. And that sometimes in and by itself leads to a real clunker of a game. You can't keep beating the spread by 20 points a game. Sooner or later, you revert back to the mean statistically, and there is that clunker. And like Connor said, Cincinnati is definitely the better team on paper. And as dumb as it's dumb to even say, it's about execution. Cincinnati comes in there and executes. They're the team that's going to win and cover. If they don't, then obviously it'll be a really, really close game. The one thing that supports Cincinnati in these road teams, and I started doing some, my applied mathematics on it, is we started talking a couple weeks ago about no fans in the stands. And that clearly would favor Cincinnati here, even if Tulsa has a few fans in the stands. It's not a program that's going to have a sellout every Saturday afternoon. So there's no doubt it's an advantage to the away team because they can change plays, they can hear. There's no screaming on third downs where they can't hear, and that too would favor Cincinnati. So overall, it'll be a game definitely to watch and see what happens, in my opinion. But I definitely respect my colleagues here with their picks.
Interesting, and it is true. We were told here in the chat by Michael Hunter that Bet Rivers is holding a 46.5. So is DraftKings. DraftKings and Bet Rivers both hanging 46.5 here for Cincinnati and Tulsa.